Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Dicing with Death. The troll lies beaten and bloodied on the ground. Cassandra and Soy know enough about trolls, and they've seen it regenerate, and they're not taking any chances, and so they beat the ever-living shit out of the unconscious corpse, or stab the ever-living shit out of it, as a Soy's condition may be, while Moth sits in the corner, terrified, huddled in a little ball, staring wide-eyed in horror at what is going on. Clearly, the 15-year-old is a little out of her depth.
Well, Devon has trained his other apprentices as well, so he joins in and kicking the troll a few times.
After some time
will
passes.
the magic circle reignite? Like, does the troll's blood resummon the barrier? I guess we don't really know.
Yeah.
Devon will ask his apprentices, does anyone know what just happened?
There's some silence, and Cassandra raises her hand.
Yes?
You breached the magic circle with your hand.
Devon nods as if he intended for that all to happen. I'm sure his fighting was impressive enough to, I don't know. So maybe his magic failed, but he was able to ninja the troll into submission with a few precise backstabs from the apprentices.
So he speaks up, saying, I think I understand why you're teaching me to use my hands. Sometimes magic isn't enough.
Especially with your power. I may be able to glance a troll's blows all day, but Cassandra here has but 2 magic missiles in her before she has to resort to the stick.
Nod, as if they get it.
Does anyone have any ideas for restoring the barrier?
Soy speaks up quickly. Well, wouldn't we just have to do the same thing as before? Drag it back into the middle and let its blood fill the grooves? And Cassandra gives her a wry, like, yes, but what if the blood needs to be drained from the grooves first before it will reactivate? How would we know? Moth sits quietly.
Would you like us to test this, Neal, or would you like to give Devon a chance to, like, arcanology or spellcraft his way into a likely solution?
Do you have the spell Magic Circle?
No, does such a thing exist?
There is a spell called Magic Circle. So why don't you give me a spellcraft? Is that the skill? Yeah, give me a spellcraft check.
Skills, spellcraft. Oh. That's not good.
Ooh.
Don't know.
Okay.
Guess we'll have to find out.
Okay.
It couldn't hurt. Here's a moment where a cantrip might be handy. But I think we'll use some brush to clear the magic circle and the blood.
Moth stays
Reset
in the corner
things.
while you guys clear the blood and reset things.
Hope we didn't break her irreparably. Devon will apply some troll blood to his... Actually, I think he can... I can use MP. Let me take a look at this spell. One point per round, 1 round per level. I have some poultices I can apply. And I think to the horror of the apprentices, Devon drinks some troll blood to restore his HP.
They watch in abject terror. Do you just like go up to the troll blood and like slurp some of it as you cast your spell?
I think, yeah. I mean, like, why bother quaffing some from? I don't think it's like a big thing. I think they like catch it out of the corner of their eye, right? Like we're all cleaning up the magic circle to get ready, and they're like, is he lapping up the troll blood? Like they're like cleaning it with brush or something, and they see me drinking,
like wringing it out into your mouth, or yeah.
Just
licking the troll.
It only requires a quaff, so one good lick. But they look, out of their peripheral vision, they see their master, hands and knees, slurping troll blood from the grooves of this magic circle.
Mm-hmm. Soy will.
Not so divine, is it?
Put a finger in the troll blood and lick it herself before spitting it back out and complaining of the metallic taste that is also somehow like bitter and rotten.
And Devon realizes he's been spotted, walks over to her and says, or like holds out his hand and like where like wounds are, I don't know, where like an arm where like wounds are knitting over.
Mm-hmm.
And he says disdainfully, that won't work, he says.
I just want to.
It's magic. That will just make you sick. Perhaps when you're more powerful, though such dark arts often carry side effects. Turns his back and maybe rubs some of his troll blood poultice into his wounds to heal them further.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what the troll blood poultice did. Was that similar? Was it 9 points of healing over 9 rounds? Or
I think so. Let me open up my notes after I quote this person in chat. Okay. Magic folder. Potion subtab. Trollish solve. 1 HP per round over 9 rounds.
Okay, so total low gain 18 from drinking the troll blood and expending a 3rd level spell and applying the poultice to wounds.
Mm-hmm.
I show this to Asoya as well. As I was explaining to her that maybe when she's more powerful, I will show her.
Mm-hmm.
But dark magic has risks, and she might not, might want to avoid such a path.
Yeah. And then it's a period of waiting, right? For the troll to heal up enough to redo its thing.
Yeah, so I guess we clean it up, and then we wait to see if when the troll regenerates this time, it will be stuck.
All right. Well, it takes maybe an hour or 2 for the troll to get back to moving around on the ground and sort of like twitching a little bit, and then another 45 minutes or so before it can start to drag itself back in your direction, letting out a groan as it crawls or pulls itself more likely across the ground, kicking with its feet occasionally. It reaches the edge of the barrier, and once again its hand presses against a force field.
Okay, so we're not entirely sure if the cleaning between uses was necessary, but we did it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Devon says, no one should breach the barrier. And we sit down to watch.
The deadly seriousness of the situation calms the sometimes snarky apprentices' words. They all just sort of sit there and wait. What are you waiting for, Devon?
I'm not sure what's supposed to happen. This 2-headed troll is to be an offering to whatever extraplanar entity agreed to send him a yugoloth.
Mm-hmm.
He's not entirely sure how to make such an offering.
Do you think communicating and setting up a specific spot is enough? Or do you think there were other things that needed to be done? Do you need to call their attention to the place? Do you need to wait for like a certain time of day or like cycle of the moon?
We'll wait here and see. I don't have a way to contact them again.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I think we'll wait. Maybe it's a time of day, so we'll wait here long enough to see. If it takes like a long time, Devon will eventually tell his apprentices they're free to find somewhere to rest.
Mm-hmm.
They can make themselves comfortable in the chambers below.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
All right.
But Devon will keep watch at the magic circle.
You can tell when the sun goes down outside by looking through the doorway down the long hall to the other end where the light shines on the steps. And as the steps go into shadow and the ambient light begins to fade from there, this chamber takes on a misty quality.
Well, hold on. Devon is on the surface. Is this down in the...
This is down in the pit.
Okay. So you can go ahead and narrate it, but if something interesting happens, it's probably one of my apprentices shouting up for me to come see.
I think that's going to exactly be what it is. You hear Moth calling in her high-pitched young child's voice. Help! Help! Something! Master Devon! Master Devon!
And Devon will go down below
Mm-hmm.
and see what she's hollering about.
The sun has set, and you can see there is a mist forming in this room, but only within the confines of the magic circle.
Is this the altar room, or the room with the statues?
The room with the statues and the room with the troll, who is now fully awake and just stopped his yowling and is walking
so wait, the troll
around.
thing happened inside of the... For some reason I thought it was on the surface. The magic circle was inside the room with the...
Yes.
With the statues?
Yes. I thought that's where all this was transpiring.
I misunderstood. I thought the magic circle was on the surface of the stone platform. But it sounds like there's the magic circle's on a lower layer.
No, you're right. The magic circle is on the surface. I think I just got myself confused.
Okay. So I think all of that was going on the surface.
Yes.
But there's a chamber just beneath it that is now filling up with...
No. I'm sorry. I think I was just very confused for a moment. The magic circle is on the surface. It's not downstairs in the lair. I thought all of this was downstairs in the lair. It's all on the surface. So your servants are out here. Your apprentices are out here as well then. And you would then have seen the mist rising within the confines of the magic circle as the troll presses on the force field. It's gotten quiet, and it seems just to be going in a circle, testing every point on the force field and then stopping and then trying again and then stopping, as if it's too stupid to remember that this thing is here. But you see the mist rising in this circle, sort of filling it and making it difficult to see a little bit. You know, at first it's not that thick, but after a good half an hour, the mist becomes like pea soup, and you can only see the shadow of the troll, or where its hand begins to push against the outside, or against the inside of the force field. Do you have any plans, or are you just waiting?
I think we're gonna wait. Yeah, I have no means of contacting the extraplanar creature again.
There is a cry that comes from within, followed by a second, almost harmonizing cry, probably one from each of the two heads of the troll, as the sound reaches a fevered pitch and then splits with the breaking of bone and the splashing of water. Although within the mist, you can't really see what is happening, just hearing the noise coming through. And then the mist begins to evaporate or fade rather quickly. And a few minutes later, there, in the center of the magic circle, is your yugoloth.
Lovely.
Waiting, standing, staring. There are three types of yugoloths: least, lesser, and greater. You have gotten yourself a least yugoloth. Whatever outer planar creature has brought this to you has only trusted you or entrusted you with the weakest of its minions.
It's based on the treasures, right? It appraised my library at less than 25,000 gold pieces.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
If my library were worth more than 25,000 gold pieces, I might have gotten a lesser. And only objects of exceedingly great value are guarded by greater yugoloths.
Mm.
There is a percent chance that... did we need to roll a success, or are you just giving it to me? Let's see, 10% chance for each level over 7th. So I think there was technically only a 20% chance. Although we could keep trying or something. And if it fails, there is a 30% chance that the demon takes offense and gates in to slay the spellcaster.
Oh. Yeah, let me roll my percentage. I didn't read that section. 10% chance per level that the summoner is over 7th. So 8th and 9th. You'd have a 20% chance?
Yeah, that's pretty shit. But presumably, it doesn't say, like, you can't try again. It doesn't even say what the ritual involved is. So we could just retcon that it takes a number of days it takes you to roll less than 20%.
We're not going to bother rolling in this situation.
Okay.
There is a guiding hand who is helping make this happen. This is not just a random single person trying to get a yugoloth. This is a yugoloth who is being almost like shoehorned into existence.
Okay. So at least yugoloth is horned and frog-like. Only the greater ones can fly, right?
Correct. AC 17, movement rate 9, 6 hit dice, plus 5 to hit, 3 attacks, d4, d10, d10, and a breath weapon of 3d6 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Immune to charm, hold, sleep, polymorph, and fear spells. 50% chance of being immune to 1 additional attack. Anyway, your horned frog appears in the mist. Its coloring is sort of brownish with these bright red veins that flow through it close to the surface, giving it this sort of webbed look across its body. Its horns curl, almost like those of a large ram. And when it opens its mouth, you can sort of like see waves of heat coming off of its tongue.
I'm trying to figure out, it's got the 3 attacks. I'm thinking that the D4 is a bite and the D10s are claws.
From a frog?
Yeah. I'm thinking a frog-like in shape. I think it's a frog with like eagle talons that deal D10 damage.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Right, because I wish they also say size variable, which is super weird. The greater one is large, so I'm assuming it's small or medium.
It's got to be medium-sized. It's doing
Okay.
D10 damage. The D4 might be a butt with its rammed horns.
Okay.
And then the D10s, I think, are like large claw talons on the frog. Because it's,
Okay.
frog-ish in nature. It's not just a random tree frog with plus horns. It's...
Yeah. I think like the greater one, it's probably got enormous claws that are disproportionate, like curled over. D10 damage. That's like the damage of a two-handed sword. That's like a two-handed sword. So like, it's not gonna be the length of a two-handed sword, but maybe 5 or 4 talons that are like 12 inches long.
Big whopping talons ready to rip things to pieces. Well,
This, my apprentices, is our librarian. Greetings, Devon will say to the creature, and welcome to Arcadia.
the
Should
frog
speak all
growls.
languages, right?
You summoned me? I serve, Devon.
Your charge is our library in Necrot. I think we must get you there post haste.
I serve your will.
Supposedly, they're supposed to remain within 90 yards of the object they've been summoned to protect. So let's get him to his charge.
Excellent. The journey home is not too dangerous, but you'll notice your frog demon creature seems to suffer in the heat of the day in the hills as it like hops along beside you or crawls along beside you as its energy levels dip and peak.
Is there a way to make its going more comfortable? Can I perhaps fabricate him a
Amphibian
litter?
in nature, so the dry heat of these hills with the direct sunlight.
We're in a swamp. Oh, you mean once we get out of the swamp?
Once you get out of the swamp, once you get to the hills, the environment is difficult for your monster, and it suffers in its movement. You can see that if you were to, have to fight such a thing out in the hills, you would definitely have an advantage in this uncomfortable environment for it. But once it gets into a cooler, darker place with a little bit of moisture, it should be just fine.
Yeah. Bonk. All right. Yeah, so we rush back to Necrot. We pour water over the frog or something if it begins to overheat. Will it speak to me, or is it single-minded in its goals? I ask it, can I ask you about where you came from? And who your true master is? Oh, before we get there, can I ESP my apprentice's mind before I let them out of the swamp?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which one
Just
would
a
you like
chicken.
to ESP? All of them?
I think I can do all three. Like I can start ESP and then go from mind to mind to mind and just sort of look at them and gauge whether I can trust them. Right? We made that, we made a pact going into it that we owed each other secrecy and loyalty. In fact, owed humanity secrecy and loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Moth,
right. Yeah.
Moth is resigned at this point to their duties. She has internalized the idea that if you are not completely perfect with every single one of your abilities and every single one of your spells, that terrible, terrible things can go wrong and you will die. And you can hear the repetition of certain words and phrases and images in her mind, leading her down the path of complete practice and care and devotion. Like almost an
PTSD.
almost an obsession with making
I'm the
sure
one
you
that
get
got
the
beat
things
to
right.
5 HP and she's traumatized. No,
Yeah.
Not to be dismissive of such experiences, but she doesn't strike me as a security risk. Doesn't need to be shoved off the boardwalk and left in the swamp.
Mm-hmm. Cassandra is fuming. The newer recruits, Moff did literally nothing. Cassandra doesn't care about Moff in the slightest. Moff is, subordinate to her. Her thoughts rarely dwell on her other than like, I've got to tell her to do that thing, or it's nice having a lackey to do my bidding for me. But when you read her mind, she's focused on a soy who is walking in front of her down the boardwalk. Mm-hmm. And she's replaying the scene in battle in her mind where she cast magic missile that did a glancing blow against her, and then almost as if out of nowhere, a soy like leapt at the creature from behind with a dagger in two hands and managed to plunge it in the back of the troll. And the sort of like, why didn't I do that? Why wasn't I brave enough to go up and hit it? Well, why didn't Devon ever teach me how to fight hand to hand? He teaches her. He teaches her all sorts of fighting. Where did I go wrong? What did I do? Did I make him mad? And it's sort of this...
Devon will approach her almost like as if he could read her mind and assure her and say, most wizards find their best place is at a step removed from combat. It is why there are different types of people in this world. And this is why most wizards find it convenient to travel in the company of warriors.
She nods her head as if she understands, but doesn't really.
I say I am unusual in that I am my own warrior. Perhaps a soy is a bit like me, but that if anything, it might make her and I lesser wizards than one such as you, who can focus their studies and stick to the back lines. Maybe not as reassuring as I meant, but
she stays quiet, but seems to get what you're trying to poke at.
And a soy?
A soy is sort of exhilarated. She came here, 12 weeks ago, 14 weeks ago, maybe by now, in search of some sort of great master, and was like hauling bricks around and doing a bunch of bitch work and being taught a few things, chiseling stuff into stone, doing some physical combat. But this is, bringing a troll back from the dead. This is a life and death battle where her instructor was on the verge of collapse, maybe, or maybe he totally had it together. She can't quite tell if you're amazing or just lucky. There's some sort of otherworldly contact that's happening. There's a weird demon frog here that the master's communicating with. Like, this is definitely the right choice of a place to learn. She is seemingly not bothered by the dark arts in the slightest, and is just more filled with wonder and like a desire to do what you do, have what you have, be able to control what you control.
All right. And our little frog creature, does he would he answer my questions, or is he like
yes, what did you ask again?
So I know he can speak all languages, but I don't know if he will actually communicate. I was asking him if he could tell me about where he came from and about who his true master is. Were you created by Drexel?
I have been summoned by many.
I like his voice.
I have been summoned by the one you call Drexel. And I have died at his hands. I have been summoned again. The same place. Are you the same man?
No. I don't think so. I am Devon. Didn't you say so yourself?
Yes.
All right. Well.
Do you have any more questions for the frog?
He seems like an interesting character. See if I can get more information out of him over the years or whatever. But let's get him to his new home.
Okay. You can hippity hop all your way back to the barbershop and make your way home. This is normally our relative ending point, but my schedule's pretty open. I don't know what you've got going. Do we want to wrap up here, which is a nice ending point, or do you want to continue to delve into monsters and magic and summoning?
We could go a little late. I think she's getting ready for a nap, so I might try to strap her in and see if she'll sleep on me. But if you like, we can go a little long. So maybe let's do like a quick break.
Sure.
And come back for a mini segment.
Yeah, let's do it.
Wrap things up.
We'll be back in a few minutes for a few minutes. Bye-bye.